Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of radiant settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Morning. Hope you're all well. First of all, apologies for being late. My laptop was decided that it's been way too busy, so it needs restarting. So I had to restart, set everything up, and it was a nightmare. So apologies, I'm a little bit later this morning, but great to see all of you here, so bright and early. It's going to be a sunny day. Arsenal are back tonight, so we're going to talk a little bit about that later. Also going to talk about Arsenal news. We're going to talk about Mikel Merino, which sounds like it's getting very, very close now. And, of course, Osimhen, who will not go away in terms of a rumour with Arsenal. We're going to talk about Manchester United. We're also going to talk about other clubs in the Premier League and across Europe. So please make sure you get locked in. Do me a favour, show your appreciation by hitting the like button. That's all I ask, is that you hit like and subscribe, because them two buttons are absolutely free. It really does grow the channel. You guys have been listening because the subscribers have been absolutely flying, and we're getting so close to that 30k, which is our next target, which we really want to hit this season. So please make sure that we can do that. Make sure you hit the like button, and if you do want to join, then you can hit the join button, and then you can give a very small fee towards content monthly. So if you do want to do that, then please feel free. It would be absolutely amazing. But please hit the like and the subscribe. Also, do me a favor and follow our sponsors, Manscaped. All you've got to do is click on that link in the comment section, and all you will do is take you straight through to the website where you can select the Beard Hedger and get 20% off. You will see when you put it into your checkout, add it to your cart, 20% will come off automatically using that link. So please make sure you do that. If you're interested in some beard trimmers for yourself, for your father, for your brother, for your friend, whoever, make sure that you do support the sponsors of the channel. Good morning to everybody that is in the chat. We have got Alex from Forder on Football, who was on the show last night. Please make sure you go check that one out, talking about all things Arsenal and all things transfers. Some really good debates there with myself, Northside, and Kenny Ken. Good morning to Dan, Gullah Dude, Emerson, Tiger and Guna. Love that. Desi, Steve, hope you're enjoying your holiday, my bro. Niffin, Lior, Charlie, hope you're well, Chazza. Tony, Ash, hope you're well, bro. Johan, Khalid, Shane, Gunner Vapes, Robin, Junior Gunner, Greeny Man, hope you're well. Ratish, Anfield, Lad, James, Ratish, Raoul, Wesbird, and everybody else. Carol has just joined. That is in the chat. That isn't in the chat talking, but is listening. And for those of you that are watching on catch up as well. So please do me a favor and hit the like button if you're just joining now, and hit subscribe. Good to see you all in the chat room. Let's get to it, shall we? We've got quite a lot to talk about this morning, about all clubs really, but we are actually going to start with Manchester United, because they are no longer interested in Manuel Ugarte, as reported yesterday. So now they're looking at other options. And Manchester United, to be fair, have been looking at defenders. Still not done in that area. They've obviously got Lenny Yoro. They're looking at De Ligt. They're looking at potentially going for Jared Branthwaite in the later stages of the window as well. But they're looking at their midfield now. And their midfield, they're looking to try and stack it. They've obviously got Kobe Mainu. They've obviously got Bruno Fernandes. And they've got Mason Mount. But who else could they add to it? Well, apparently they are going all out for Sander Berge. Now, Sander Berge is a player that I really rated at Sheffield United, and I thought he was a player that, let's be real, was going to potentially thrive in the Premier League. However, it doesn't look like he's going to be in the Championship again for very much longer. He has gone down, not with Sheffield United, but obviously with Burnley, and apparently Manchester United are interested in the player. Now, it might be a strange one, this, because a lot of people will look at that and say that's a very underwhelming signing. But he was quite head and shoulders above everybody else in that team. The search for the midfielder could see him make an offer for the Burnley's Norway international. So he obviously plays nationally with Ødegaard and Haaland. He's 26 years old, and they've been turned away from Manuel Ugarte. So they're now going for Sander Berge. Now, the Championship side, Burnley, will probably demand up to around 30 million for the midfielder, which I think Manchester United could probably afford to pay. So if I'm honest, I don't really see that one as a deal that can't get done. I mean, as soon as Manchester United are interested, Sander Berge is going to be like ears pricked up, thinking, really? Manchester United? Okay, sounds good to me. I actually quite like the player. I do. I don't think it will take Manchester United to the next level, but I certainly do believe that it would be a very good signing. So, yeah, watch what happens here. Sander Berge, a player that Arsenal were looking at not too long ago, I will say that, but looking like he could be off to Manchester United now. The other interest, of course, is Yusuf Fofana. Now, he's not gone to AC Milan yet. AC Milan are on the verge of signing him, but Manchester United have also expressed late interest. I would absolutely love Fofana still. 25-year-old from Monaco, superb box-to-box midfielder. He's got all the attributes I think we need for a box-to-box midfielder. And I would be gutted if Manchester United were to get him. So I kind of pray and hope that he is going over to AC Milan and that deal gets done very quickly. But Manchester United have shown interest in him for sure. So I think that if he had the two choices, he really needs to decide where he wants to play his football. Is it in England or is it in Italy? Now, when Man United come knocking, although they've been an absolute mess for the best part of a decade, it is a kind of different knock because they're one of the best clubs in the world. And when you look at it, I say one of the biggest clubs, actually, not one of the best clubs, but you know what I mean. I think when Manchester United and Real Madrid come knocking, it will turn players' heads 100%. So let's see if Yusuf Fofana's head could be turned by Manchester United coming in for him if they are interested. Now, I don't know what the price would cost, but it wouldn't be anything more than 20 to 25 million. It's a deal that I just cannot understand why Arsenal have not tried to get done. But obviously, it looks like we're going for Mikel Merino instead. Somebody Arteta wants. This is somebody that I would want at Arsenal and I believe would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United in the midfield with Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes. So I see, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? And see where Yusuf Fofana goes. They are, of course, still looking at the player they had there last year on another loan from Fiorentina, which, of course, is Sofyan Amrabat. He is a player who I thought was going to do well at Manchester United, but let's be real. I wouldn't say flopped, but it wasn't exactly a great game from him. I thought he was pretty poor, if I'm honest, particularly against Arsenal. I saw him in games and thought that he looked one of the weakest links, but he is a good footballer. He did well at Fiorentina. He did really well in the World Cup for Morocco, if you remember. But Manchester United are keeping an eye on him to see if they can do a replica of what they did last season with Amrabat. Now, it looks as if because they're bringing some players in, they're looking to try and get rid of players, but it looks like Scott McTominay could not be on his way now to Fulham. It looks as if Fulham are potentially pulling out of that race. They've called their interest in the Scotland midfielder after a 20 million bid was rejected by Man United. They believe he's valued closer to 30 to 35 by the Red Devils. Now, I'm sorry, but that is crazy. There is no way Scott McTominay is worth £35 million. In no way. You know, he's got experience, yes. He's a Scottish international, yes. Manchester United player, yes. Come on and had some moments for Manchester United. But really, 20 to 25 million, absolute maximum is fair. You know, he's a good player, but not a great player. What is he great at? Not much. You know, he's a steady Eddie player. I don't think we should be looking at anything other than 20 to 25 million if you're selling Scott McTominay. So Man United need to bring that down. Fulham are genuinely interested, but it looks like they don't want to pay any more than 20 million. They could probably be throwing some add-ons in there to make it up to 25, but let's be real. Manchester United just need to accept that and move on and add that towards their Fofana. You know, you can swap Fofana for Scott McTominay. You know what I'm saying? Go and do it. Like, go and do it. Honestly, absolutely crazy that Manchester United are still trying to get this much from him. And when you look at that Man United midfield and defence, if they was to go and get Lenny Yoro and De Ligt, if they was going to get Jared Branthwaite, maybe they would look at Lenny Yoro stepping out and having De Ligt and Jared Branthwaite, and then Lenny Yoro's then nurtured forward, being an 18-year-old. They've sorted their centre halves out. They've got Dalot, they're looking at fullbacks as well. They've got left backs, they're looking at left backs as well. They've obviously got Onana. Their midfield, then, if they was to add a box-to-box midfielder to Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes, they're kind of there. Xerxes, I think, actually might play on the wide areas as well as up top because Rasmus Højlund is there. They've still got Rashford, who, let's be real, Ten Hag's got to try and get something out of. But that right-hand side is still neglected. It wouldn't surprise me if Man United went for a winger late on in the window. I don't know who it's going to be, but let's be real. Sancho and Antony aren't it. Sancho looks like he's on his way out. And Antony, I think they're stuck with him, but he's just not good enough. So, yeah, they're going to have to see what they do there, in my opinion. Let's move, shall we? Because Spurs are looking at bringing in Dominic Solanke. Now, there is a release clause of £65 million, which is an unbelievable amount of money. But Bournemouth, to be fair, probably don't want to sell him still for that much money because Bournemouth need him this season. I actually tip Bournemouth to be fighting for the kind of top half of the table. Iraola is that highly rated, in my opinion, that I think they could do that. I think it's going to be a very close Premier League table this season. With Crystal Palace losing players, with Brighton not going to be, in my opinion, up there this season as much. With Fulham at the moment, alongside Wolves and Bournemouth and West Ham, I think they're all going to be fighting for that kind of top half of the table, in my opinion. So I think it will be really, really interesting to see if Dominic Solanke ends up going to Spurs. I personally don't understand why Spurs aren't going for Tony, who's cheaper and offers a lot more, and then Bournemouth can keep Solanke, but maybe that won't happen. But apparently it is all dependent on what happens with Richarlison, who apparently is linked massively or heavily with Saudi Arabia. Now, it looks as if there are potential for the Saudi Pro League to be preparing themselves for a huge offer for Richarlison, which I think Tottenham want pretty much what they spent on him, which was close to £60 million. I mean, if they're going to pay that, that is unbelievable business from Tottenham, I must say that. And then that would allow them to be interested in Solanke. So for me, if Richarlison leaves, he's only 27, Richarlison, Brazilian striker, but Saudi Pro League interested in him. If they was to sell him for 60 and go and get Solanke, you're swapping Solanke for Richarlison. Wow, you've done very, very well there. That would be incredible business for Spurs. So if that can happen, then yeah, I think that would be a fantastic start to the window. Only really signed Berge, who they got in last January, and obviously Archie Gray from Leeds. They've not really had the best of summer windows so far, and Tottenham fans are all in absolute meltdown, asking Ange and Levy, where is the money? What are we doing? Well, it looks like they're going to spend money, but they've got to get outgoings first. Tottenham have got a very good first 11. Let's have it right. Tottenham have got a very good first 11. It's not one that I look at and think, wow, but it's certainly one that you'd look at and say is fair and respectable to be fighting for Champions League spots. But they've got no cover whatsoever. They need to do more. If they went and got Solanke, brilliant. If they went and got a midfielder like an Eze or Pedro Neto, fair play. If they went and sorted themselves out with a fullback, then you might look at Tottenham differently and say, do you know what, they could really push forward now. But until they do that, I don't have Tottenham really doing that well, to be honest. This one looks imminent, though. Emerson Royale to AC Milan. I think it's around about £15 million. That looks like it's going to happen now. I imagine in the next couple of days, you'll see Emerson Royale move over to Italy. And in their opinion, a good signing. I've never been a fan, personally. I don't think he's good enough. I think defensively he's okay, but anything else is pretty poor. I just do not rate him highly enough. I just don't think he's that level, in my opinion. So let's see what happens there. Let's also talk about this guy. We all know him very, very well. We've all heard of him over at Bayern Munich and then over come back to Dortmund. He is 35 years old now. Won the World Cup with Germany back in 2014. Brighton have made contact with him. He's a free agent. He's former Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund defender, as I've said. And also West Ham interested in Matt Hummels. Now, at 35 years old, you wouldn't think he's got much fuel left in the tank, but he is a true professional and a proper experienced head, and a player that I think for Brighton or West Ham could come in and do a very, very good job. He's not going to play every game, but certainly last year got to the final of the Champions League with Borussia Dortmund, has that leadership, has that experience, and actually would be a very good signing for him. So if they could try and tempt him on a free transfer, that would be pretty impressive. Bologna, I know, we're interested in him as well, but that doesn't look like it's happening. So it really does need to be a club that he wants to go to. And at the moment, it looks like West Ham and Brighton are in pole position for the player. So let's take a look at what happens there. Could be very interesting indeed. Let's talk about this guy because we've been linked with him for what seems like forever. Players have been linked with him. Teams have been linked with him. I'll get there in a minute. Have been linked with him forever. Dani Olmo. It looks as if he is on his way to Barcelona. They've reached a verbal agreement of around £47 million, which is with a £6 million add-ons with Leipzig for the Spain attacking midfielder Dani Olmo. He's 26 years old. That's come from Fabrizio Romano on Twitter or X. Looks like he's off to Barcelona. Now, this, to be fair, is a good signing because he had a £50 million release clause and Barcelona have managed to get him for less than that after it expired. So actually, this is a good signing for Barcelona. I would have liked him at Arsenal. I really would have liked him at Arsenal. I think he could have 100% come in and provided competition to Ødegaard and certainly been allowed us to play in that attacking 8 position as well if we wanted him to play there. But it looks like Barcelona was where his heart was set on. Now, I know Barcelona are looking at Nico Williams. They've got Lamine Yamal. They've got Pedri. They've got Busquets. To me, they're just basically building the Spain squad, aren't they? That's what they're doing. Fair play. I mean, that's what they've got to try and do for me, is to catch up with Real Madrid. But I think Barcelona have got a very good player there. And Dani Olmo, I've been a big fan of him. And particularly in tournaments, he's always shone and done very well. So I expect to see and hear that deal is done within the coming days. So that is what I would expect. Let's talk about this guy, shall we? Jonathan Tah. Now, this could be massive when it comes to what happens to De Ligt, because Bayern Munich are yet to make a breakthrough in their negotiations with Bayer Leverkusen over the deal for the 28-year-old Germany defender, Jonathan Tah. Now, Tah is a player that was at Bayer Leverkusen and was really absolutely killing it. Bayern Munich are yet to make a breakthrough in understanding how they can get this player. I believe he was at Bayern Munich previously, but he obviously has gone over to Leverkusen and won everything over there with Xabi Alonso. And it looks to me as if there's an opportunity for De Ligt to be stalled due to this, because obviously Bayern Munich want to be looking at what they can do in that department. So let's see what happens there. I don't know why De Ligt has not gone to Manchester United yet, but it looks like that could be one of the reasons why. So let's take a look at that. In other news, Julian Alvarez, he has completed his move, or will be completing his move to Atletico Madrid. And it says over in Spain that Atletico Madrid will offset the £82 million signing of Argentina forward Alvarez from Manchester City by selling the 20-year-old Spanish forward Osimhen to Chelsea. Now, it looks like Osimhen is probably going to cost around €40 million for Chelsea. I know absolutely nothing about the player. I don't know how good he is or how bad he is, should I say. I have absolutely no idea. And I don't understand what Chelsea are doing. I really don't. I thought they would have gone all out for Osimhen. It looks like, or Tony, or if they wanted to spend some money, spend it on another area of the side. But it looks like Osimhen is going to be on his way to Chelsea. Now, he was at Alaves last season, scored about 5 goals, apparently highly rated, quite physically imposing. I don't know what Chelsea are doing. You know, he's a 20-year-old. I think he's not going to set the world alight. I mean, he's probably going to be better in front of goal than Nicholas Jackson. But let's be real. What is actually happening at Chelsea? You know, yesterday they're linked with Gabriel Mek, a 16-year-old Brazilian midfielder. It really is a madness at Chelsea. And I keep saying this. People think, say to me, why are you so annoyed about it? I'm not annoyed about what Chelsea are doing. I think it's hilarious. I'm annoyed about their fan base that gets so sensitive whenever you question what Chelsea might be doing in the transfer market. They have such a sensitive bunch of them. And all they can throw back is, when are Arsenal going to win a league and a trophy? When are you going to get a Champions League? And now don't worry about my club, man. Worry about yours. Because if your reply is, when are Arsenal going to win a trophy? It means you're also really struggling yourself, because you've got nothing better than to come back to me at is, actually, Dan, I know you're concerned about Chelsea, but the reason I'm not is because they can't do that because they're concerned themselves. So they throw back at Arsenal fans, when are you going to get a Champions League? And think that that's going to actually somehow help Chelsea this season. Bizarre. Very, very bizarre. Lost again last night, apparently, to Real Madrid 2-1. Didn't see the game, but fair enough. It is Real Madrid. Anyway, let's come into the 2 goalkeepers that are being linked with moves away, shall we, before we get onto the Arsenal news. Sam Johnson, a goalkeeper at Crystal Palace. There he's at West Brom, obviously, where it was before. Dean Henderson and Sam Johnson, both at Crystal Palace. That's not going to work. One of them's got to leave, and it looks as if Dean Henderson is the guy going along with England that Crystal Palace have gone for as their number 1. Sam Johnson definitely needs a move away. Maybe you'll go and find a club like Ipswich Town who's just come up, or maybe Southampton or something like that. But Sam Johnson's always been a good goalkeeper, to be honest. And over the years, I think he was at Manchester United where he started as a youngster. He's done well at West Brom. He did well at Palace when he's joined, and he has come in and played. But for me, he needs to go and get first-team football. That's my opinion. The other goalkeeper linked with a move away, which moves us nicely onto Arsenal, is Aaron Ramsdale. And reports are suggesting today that both England goalkeepers, Aaron Ramsdale and Sam Johnson, are at the centre of a transfer fight between a number of Premier League clubs. Now, the Sun's reporting that there's quite a few Premier League clubs interested in Ramsdale and Johnston. And literally, I think if there's 2 or 3 clubs, or let's say there's 2 clubs that are going for it, one of them's going to end up with Ramsdale. The other one's going to end up with Johnston, it seems. Look, Nottingham Forest were interested. Southampton were interested. Bournemouth were interested on loan. I think most of these clubs want him on loan. And I would not be okay with that. Unless there was an obligation of £30 million, I would not be okay with that. I don't want to be giving a Ramsdale try before you buy and give us what you think he's worth at the end of the season. That is not what I think it should be. I think personally, Ramsdale has accepted that he's not going to get a big move from a Premier League club. Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Villa, none of them need a number one goalkeeper. So he's not going to go to one of those clubs. Newcastle are sticking with Nick Pope, and they bought a couple of goalkeepers now as well. It looks as if Ramsdale might be staying at Arsenal unless we accept a loan with an obligation, which should be around 25, 30 million, which is what we paid for him. We've really lost out money here. Like, let's be real. We probably should have got rid of Ramsdale last summer if we weren't going to be using him, because now he's definitely had a kick in the teeth of his value. He's been at Arsenal for a couple of seasons now, fighting titles. We bought him for 25 million from relegated side. Now he's worth probably 25 million again. So we've lost out money here. We really have. And I believe he probably will go by the end of the window. But what's going to happen there, I really don't know. So that one could be very interesting. Watch what happens here. I would keep Ramsdale unless there was anybody that believed they want to come in for around £30 million and take him off our hands. I think that's what he's worth. Personally, I feel like that should be the case. But unfortunately, there's nobody at the moment that's coming in with anything like that. So let's see what happens there. Could be very, very interesting. Let's talk about Mikel Merino, shall we? Because this one, I mean, it must be getting closer now. It really must be getting closer now. It's getting quite frustrating, quite annoying, because you just want to get these guys, these deals done. Now, I understand and appreciate, to be fair, that he's just come back from holiday. And Gunner Blog is suggesting that Arsenal hold ongoing interest with Mikel Merino as the central midfielder remains a huge focus. The player is hugely admired by Mikel Arteta, but Arsenal was still exploring their options in the midfield market. Merino would be keen to join if an agreement can be reached. Now, it looks as if this one's slowing down, but I think it probably will get done. I must say, I'm a huge fan of getting a midfielder in, and if this is the one that we want, then fair play. But I saw something yesterday from Paul Reedy over at RT Sport that's kind of a little bit worrying / might be a reason why things are slowing down. I'm going to read this out because it was something that was reported yesterday. So Mikel Merino is owed a £3 million salary for the final year of his contract, and also a $2 million loyalty 10% transfer fee bonus. This 5.2 million golden handshake is currently under discussion as Mourinho's agents are locked in talks with Sociedad. Personal terms are agreed with Arsenal and Edu, as asked for clarity today, but Real Sociedad want Merino to request a transfer to avoid the £5 million payment having to be paid. They've suggested that Arsenal pay Merino the £5 million to move the transfer along. This is basically a who will blink first. There is something going on here. This is a bit strange. They're basically saying you can go, but you owe us £5 million, or if Arsenal want to pay us that £5 million, then you can go to Arsenal. That's why this deal is being held up. And just like Calafiori, we're all wondering what's going on. Honestly, this is crazy. Like, if it's £5 million more, just pay it. What are we doing? Like, if this is actually the case, just go on then, let's get him in the door. Like, time's ticking, hurry up. It's €5 million. You just go up to Kroenke and say, look, €5 million is needed to get this Merino over the line. You're right if we go for it. You've got money for it. Like, let's just do it. What is going on? Like, real talk. That £5 million is going to do absolutely nothing whatsoever to our transfer kitty. So let's just get it done. Stop mucking around. All the time we're messing about with this. This Calafiori stuff was the same. Like, oh, we've got to pay Bologna this and Basel this and Roma this. This is taking forever. And then it comes to the scenario of £5 million with Real Sociedad. Let's just get it done, man. Let's just get it done, please. What an absolute nightmare. That's that. So Mikel Merino, I think will get done, but it might take a little bit longer. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what happens. Another player that we are definitely linked with is Victor Osimhen. Now, Arsenal, that rumour will not go away, will it? The rumour will not go away. According to Dimartio, Arsenal remain in the race to sign the Napoli Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen, who's 25 years old, despite strong interest from PSG. Now, there were reports suggesting that PSG and Osimhen had agreed personal terms, but they cannot agree a fee. Arsenal were probably the other way round, where they can agree a fee because they've probably got the money to spend 80 to 90 million pounds on a centre forward, but they don't believe that they could tempt him with personal fee that PSG can pay him. So PSG can pay him more wages and not so much of a transfer fee to Napoli. Napoli are more interested in opening offers to clubs like Arsenal who are willing to pay them more money, but we probably won't be able to give Osimhen 400k a week of what he's probably being offered at PSG or something mad like that. So this one could take a while. Are we genuinely interested in Victor Osimhen? Well, the reports are saying that we are. Victor Gyökeres is another guy that we're looking at. So maybe we're going to get a Victor over the line by the end of this transfer window. I hope that we are. Personally, I do think we need a striker, and I think both of those options would be better than Havertz, Jesus, or Eddie Nketiah. But I think it does depend really on what happens with Arsenal's outgoings, and that could be really key as to how we are going to be looking at moving forward with this. So for me, we have to then watch this space and see how far we go with a centre forward. Some people in the chat and other people I've spoken to think we probably won't get a striker. I think we need one. I really do. Let's talk about Cole Hine because he is on his way over to Spain. It looks as if Charlton were interested in him, but it does look as if he is making a move over to La Liga, where it seems that Real Valladolid are set to sign him on loan. He's had an okay pre-season, actually, Cole Hine. He's not a goalkeeper I like or love. He's not a player I think will be the next number one at Arsenal, but he has gone over to Real Valladolid, it seems, on loan in Spain. Now, this is interesting because it means we have David Raya and Ramsdale, and if Ramsdale's going, we've got David Raya, and that is it. Okonku's gone over to Wrexham. Who is coming in at Arsenal? We've got Tommy Setford at 18 years old. He's not going to feature it, I don't think. Maybe Juan Garcia comes in from Espanyol. Maybe Dan Bentley does come in from Wolves. But let's be real. We need to sort this out. And if it ain't going to be a situation that's better than Raya and Ramsdale, let's just keep Aaron Ramsdale, yeah? Because it's just got silly, in my opinion, to leave it this late and look as if we're not going to have a goalkeeper other than Raya at some point in this transfer window is going to be pretty scary. Somebody who does look like he's staying, though, is Zinchenko. A lot of people have rumoured to be suggesting that he might be leaving, and it's a player that definitely should be moving on. Look, he's a player that is okay on the ball, but as far as I'm concerned, definitely not good enough in the defensive department for Arsenal. And I think he is going to stay because he's been given a new squad number. Zinchenko is the new number 17. He says that the number 17 is very special to him. It's the number he wore as a young player, and he always requests to wear the number 17 when playing for Ukraine. With 17 being free since Cedric Suarez left the club, he asked if he could change his number from 35 to number 17, and he says a huge thanks to everyone at the club. So it looks like Zinchenko is now the new number 17 for Arsenal, which means he's going to stay. Look, I'm not actually shocked by this. I do believe Arteta likes Zinchenko. I personally feel like he can do a job in the midfield, but that is it. He cannot do any more jobs at left back. Will Arteta see him as that? No, I think Arteta will still see him as an inverted left back. But for me, I would keep Zinchenko on the ball in midfield, never ever to be seen defending again from the left-hand side. But I don't think that will be happening. I don't think he'll play as many games because we've got Timber Calafiori and Tomiyasu that can all play at left back. So I think that could be where we see that happening. The other bit of news that I do want to share with you guys is some outgoings, because it looks as if there could be further outgoings at the Arsenal. Now, if I just share what I'm reading from the screen, it will make it easier for you guys. This one from Gunner Blog suggesting that actually Arsenal are looking at attacking reinforcements, but it would most likely depend upon further outgoings. Now, it looks like we have got some players, if we scroll down further, that are looking to leave the club, as well as Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, and Aaron Ramsdale are players looking for regular first-team football. The expectation is that they will be allowed to leave Arsenal before the end of the window. Arsenal may also sell a defender to balance out the squad. Now, that's what we're being told at the moment. Now, those players that we've just mentioned, they are going to 100% be available, but are they going to go? We've got Eddie Nketiah that we've spoken about. Marseille are not prepared to go much higher than the 27 million euros bid that they had rejected. And I personally believe that was 100% a good deal. We should have accepted that. £23 million for Eddie Nketiah is about right. I did not expect to get anything more than 20 to 25 million for him. But we were trying to push for 30, and Arteta has said he's prepared to keep him. Now, I think it's fair. He's prepared to keep him. It doesn't mean he's going to play him, but he's prepared to keep him because he believes he's worth more. Arsenal are trying to get as much as they can for this deal, which, to be fair, is good negotiation. The problem you've got is you've got to also be fair that he's on 100k a week. And actually, let's be real, he's not worth much more than 23, 24 million, is he? So we just got to get that deal done. Obviously, Reece Nelson was mentioned. Leicester were very interested in him with a loan, with an obligation to buy. The problem with that is the obligation to buy, according to Leicester, is way too high. Arsenal were looking for 25 million. It looks as if they want to pay 15 to 20. So that one needs negotiating as well. Arsenal are going to have to budge, or Leicester or Marseille are going to have to budge. We're going to have to look here and say, look, I know that we want 25 and I know you want to pay 15. Let's do 20 and get it done. Eddie and Nketiah, we know that you want to pay 23. Just do 24 and we'll get it done. Just get this done. Why are we mucking around? Why are we messing about? Smith-Rowe, it was easy, but he was only 27 million with right add-ons. So why are we trying to get more for Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah, who are nowhere near as good as Emil Smith-Rowe? Very, very bizarre. I think both of these need to get done within the coming days so that we can move forward now and try and get the targets that we need. The other player mentioned was a defender. Now, it's not going to be Zinchenko because obviously he has just been given a new squad number and definitely looks like staying. So it's going to be Jacob Kivior. Now, I know we signed him from Serie A for around about £20 million. I think we'll look to try and get £20 to £25 million back for Kivior. And there's definite interest from Serie A. There was rumours of AC Milan in January, Inter Milan this summer. Juventus was sniffing around him. Thiago Motta was looking at him as well. And also Bologna were interested when we signed Calafiori. So is he going to go to Serie A? Well, it looks like he probably will. I don't think he's in the long-term plans of Mikel Arteta. And actually, Kivior does want first-team football. So I can understand why potentially we are looking to get rid of him because he wants out the door. And when a player says, I want first-team football, then you have to be real and say, go and enjoy yourself. Like, go and get yourself first-team football. When a player doesn't want to be at the club, you cannot keep him, guys. You really can't. And I understand personally why people might look at that and say, well, Ramsdale's got to go then. If an offer comes in. Like when a player wants to leave, you've got to try to make that deal happen for them because they don't want to be a part of what you're doing. But actually, they're a professional. They've got a contract with you. And if the fee is not coming in, then you have to keep the player, right? There's no point saying, Ramsdale, I want to go, boss. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no worries. Just tell Bournemouth 10 million and you can get gone. Let's get you gone. Come on, let's give you a good career. We need to be real about ourselves. We need to look after ourselves first and say, actually, I'm not selling Ramsdale for £10 million or £15 million. I'm not selling Eddie for 5. I'm not selling Nelson for 6 just because they all want to leave. I understand that. But the bids that are coming in for Nelson and Eddie and Nketiah are fairly reasonable. You know, if Leicester are actually going for a 15 million obligation with a loan, I think that's fair. I don't think that's out of order. Yeah, probably like more closer to 20, but it's not abysmal. It's not an embarrassing bid. Just get it done. Negotiate. That's what Edu should be doing. Saying, oh, okay, 15's a fair offer, but we're looking at more like 25. Okay, let's come down to, we'll give you 17. No, okay, we want 20. Okay, 18. Okay, let's do it. And that's how you negotiate, surely. You know, I'm not trying to do this like a Del Boy out of the market, but at the same stage, why does it take so bloody long all the time? Let's just get this sorted. Like, come on, man. We're trying to get these players out the door because they're not good enough. You can't be asking in the same breath, why are you getting rid of them? Because they ain't good enough. Okay, cool. How much do you want? 50 million? What? They're not good enough, apparently. Come on, man. Like, we've got to be realistic with this. We really have. That's the way I see it. I don't know why it takes us so long. I really don't, but it seems that it will do. Listen, Arsenal have got a game this evening. I will be going to the Emirates. If anybody is there, come and see me at Block 5. I'll be on the concourse, probably drinking a beer with my old man and my family, looking at this game. Please make sure you come and say hello. I might be there only for a bit because I'm actually sitting in a different area of the ground. So I might not be there for too long, but please do come and see me. If you do bump into me at the Emirates outside, then please come and say hello. Don't be shy. It'd be great to see some of you and come and have a chat about the Arsenal. What am I expecting tonight? I'm actually expecting more of a stronger squad. I don't think we'll see the first 11 starting, although they're pretty much all fit now. But I do expect to see a little bit of a rotated squad. I don't expect to see Carl Hine stay in goal. I expect it to be David Raya or Aaron Ramsdale for this game. I don't know who. I suppose it depends who has had the longest break and who feels most refreshed, I suppose. So one of those goalkeepers will definitely start. I expect to see Ben White playing back at right back. I expect to see in the middle Timber and Gabriel. If Timber is injured, like people are suggesting, then obviously it might be that Saliba comes in. It might be that we play another player there. But I do not feel like Timber is injured, but I think he was just rested for that game. But listen, if he's injured, then that's not good news. It's not good news. At left back, I expect it to be Calafiori starting because we need to see what he's all about. He hasn't played football now for a while since the Italy Euros when they went out. I also expect in midfield Thomas Partey to start. A lot of people suggested he had an okay pre-season, but not a great one. So he's going to need minutes and definite football. It might be that Jorginho plays there, though. And then obviously in midfield, I expect it to be Martin Odegaard and Ethan Nwaneri, because I feel Nwaneri needs that position in there. If not, it'll be Fabio Vieira. Martinelli needs to start on the right-hand side for me. On the left-hand side, I should say. And then I would play Jesus on the right and Havertz up top. That's what I would go with the team. You've still got Trossard there. You've still got the players from international to come back as well. I don't expect to see Saka and Saliba starting. I don't expect to see Rice starting, but maybe Arteta believes they need minutes now after having a couple of weeks off from their Euros break. So they feel refreshed now, surely. They've had enough time off to go and relax. I do not, however, want to be playing Saka for a 90-minute period. That's just a stupid thing to be doing, in my opinion. Granit Xhaka returns tonight. So what sort of reception is he going to get? I imagine he's probably going to get a good reception. I know that things weren't great for him back in 2018 when he threw the shirt on the floor and walked off. But actually, when you look at it, he revived his career, didn't he? For the last 18 months of his Arsenal career, I thought he was one of our most consistent players and certainly made that number 8 role his own. A player that we haven't replaced yet. And we've got to replace this season. Obviously, this summer we're looking at Mikel Merino. Maybe he will be the guy to replace the Granit Xhaka role. And hopefully he does it very, very well because Granit Xhaka absolutely killed it. And if you look at Martinelli, the goals he scored, 15, that was Xhaka who did a lot of that. Xhaka, to be fair, did a lot of that. And actually did work very well with Zinchenko when he did come in and invert. Xhaka was very good at that. So for me, I think we need someone who can learn off of that game style and that system because he was perfect for that. And it's a shame because I think Granit Xhaka this season in that 8 and not having Havertz there, I think we would have won more games. I really do. So it's crazy to think that keeping Granit Xhaka, which I wanted to do, by the way, I wanted to buy Declan Rice, but keep Xhaka, not replace Declan Rice. With Xhaka. So for me, that was why I wanted to see Xhaka staying. We need to replace him. We need a striker and we need a winger. And they're the 3 positions we need after Calafiori now. If Merino comes in, we need 2 more. And Eze and a Gyökeres would be my 2 perfect scenarios. If we don't go for Gyökeres, we go for Osimhen. If we don't go for Eze, we go for Pedro Neto. But this needs to happen. We need to get this in now for me. So that's what I'm looking at. Kwame's given you his side. He would go with Raya, White, Timber, Gabriel, Calafiori, Nwaneri, Odegaard, Rice, Saka, Havertz, and Trossard. I don't think Saka and Rice will play the full game, but maybe they'll feature. Maybe they'll try and get everybody to feature. It's a friendly game, of course, so it will be interesting. Bayer Leverkusen, really interested in a few things here. Really interested in how they play because they've been fantastic to watch all of last season. Xabi Alonso and Arteta get on very, very well, so that'll be good to see what relationship they have. And also what will be interesting is, of course, Calafiori playing because I've been really, really interested to see what this guy is about. And I've seen him on clips and seen him on YouTube compilations. He looks wonderful. So let's make sure that we can get a good reception for him, make him feel welcome tonight. And you know what? It'll be good tonight because all my family are going. So it'll be a really, really nice opportunity for us all to go to the Emirates together for the very first time. Obviously, my mum and dad have been loads and my brother-in-law and my sister have been loads, but only my nephew has been. My niece has never been to an Arsenal game, so she's going to get her first opportunity tonight to sit with us all. So that will be fantastic. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win just to be optimistic. I feel like we can get the job done with the players we've got out there. So make sure that we do get a good opportunity of getting our pre-season off to a good start when we've come back to England now after the States. And then we've obviously got the Emirates Cup at the weekend against Lyon, which will be a very interesting game, I'm sure. Hopefully we can go into that game, win that game, keep the confidence high. And then, of course, it's not long, is it, until the Premier League season kicks off and we will have the Wolves game, first of all, at the Emirates. And I hope everyone's back by then. I really do. I don't expect the team to be much different, if I'm honest, from what we're seeing now. Maybe Mikel Merino will be in by then, but other than that, I don't expect much different. I can't lie. I really don't. I think we've literally got next week and then the weekend after. And then we've literally got, we got 4 weeks left until the window shuts, or is it not even that? Is it 3 weeks until the window shuts? It's quite a 1st of September, isn't it? That it shuts. So we've got about 3 weeks, I think, maybe a little bit more. Can't think. I don't even know what date we're on now. The days are going so quickly. So that's what I think will happen tonight. And then we go into the pre-season. Emirates Cup. Then we've got Wolves. And let's be real, it's going to be a magnificent season. I just hope and pray that Arsenal don't leave us short. That's all I hope and pray. If we don't have a striker and we don't have a winger to cover for Saka, and we just buy Calafiori and Merino, I'll be looking at the Cronkies and Edu, and I'll be asking them what the hell they're doing. Because as much as Arteta will be like, pressure on, you've got to give him the tools. And if you're going to sell Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Aaron Ramsdale, and Smith-Rowe and not replace any of them, that is an absolute shambles, in my opinion. If you're going to use your backup goalkeeper from that Tom Setford as your backup goalkeeper, and you're going to just fling it Fabio Vieira over to you times to replace Saka with, and you're going to use Havertz and Jesus up top, and that's it. Ain't going to win the league doing that. So more players have got to come in, at least 2 more players after Mikel Merino, in my opinion. So that's what's got to happen. But there's still time. There's still time. A lot of people in meltdown, losing their heads. Let's not do that, people. Let's just wait until the window shuts. I always say this. Don't lose your heads until the window shuts. You might not be impressed now. You might not think, wow. You might be impressed and think, wow. Everyone's different. But wait until that window shuts before you lose your head and start calling the Cronkies and Edu out. That's all I will say. Keep your powder dry for now. Get to the end of the window and say, do you know what? Actually, we've done well. Or do you know what? Window shut. I've assessed it. We're short. I'm not happy. That's what one way or the other we've got to be. I do not see this window being magnificent because look at the players we link with. There's no one outstanding, is there? Heavily with Osimhen, heavily with Gyökeres, then it goes quiet. Heavily with Eze, heavily with Neto, then it goes quiet. Rumours of Leroy Sané, Nico Williams, then it goes quiet. We're obviously trying to do something in those areas, right? Mikel Merino looks like it's happening. Calafiori's a good signing. The left-hand side of Arsenal is now sorted. With Martinelli on the left, with Rice and Merino, and then Calafiori and Gabriel, you've now got a left-hand side. What we now need to do is sort out cover for Saka and a striker. And if we're not going to get 2 of those positions, go and get the striker. Why? Because the striker, for me, allows Jesus to cover for Saka on the right-hand side. Whereas if you go and buy a winger, you've still not got a striker. You've got Jesus and Havertz and Trossard that can play there, and Martinelli, everyone wants to play there, but he never does. That's not enough. That's not enough. So I understand it's not easy. I understand there's loads of number 9s about, loads of wingers about. They're easy, go and get them. The market is absolutely dead. The transfer pool is absolutely shocking. The talent pool, is shocking. I always use the example that look at the England squad from a few decades ago and look at it now. I mean, it is embarrassing to think that after Harry Kane, we've got Tony, Watkins and Solanke. Whereas years ago, after Rooney and Owen, we had a whole list of them, like the Emil Heskies of this world and the Peter Crouches of this world and the Darren Bents and Agbon Lahores and who else did we have? James Beattie. All these players we had, even further than that, Fowler, Letitia, Ian Wright, Andy Cole, they couldn't get in the England squad because Shearer and Sheringham were there. Les Ferdinand, he was there. Like, come on, where are they all? What is actually happening here? Where the hell is all these players? Where are all these players, man? It's crazy, absolutely crazy to think. Let's see how many likes we've got. We've not even hit 200 yet. There's 556 of you still here. So please make sure you do me a favor and hit that like button. It's absolutely free. And the subscription button is free as well. You do not have to pay when you hit subscribe. Yeah, believe it or not, you don't. I actually didn't know that when I first went on YouTube years ago. I thought, I'm not subscribing. I'm not paying a subscription. But you don't have to. All it does is it supports the channel, helps it grow. You hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. So please make sure you do that, people. It's just 2 buttons and they're absolutely free. Like and subscribe. It does so much for the channel. It really does help us grow. And we're doing so already. The channel is flying. You guys keep coming back. We're getting brilliant views. So let's make sure that we keep that up. Absolute legends. There'll be a couple of videos dropping. I'm going to be unavailable for most of the day. I'm going to go out see my family. Then I'm off to the Arsenal game later. I'll be doing some reaction, of course, from that game. But there'll be a couple of videos dropping later that I am sure you will absolutely love. So please make sure that you are up for watching that. They will be very, very good. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. Right, we're going to get out of here, people. Take it easy. As always, up the Arsenal, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of radiant settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.